Welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to get into episode 4 of volume 12 of my Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks scrapbooks. We're continuing on with Other Side of the Mirror. And I'm going to start off, I think I ended my last video talking about some photos that were in question. We're going to be the judge of that in this one here. These are some of them, but not, actually no, these aren't some of them. We're going to start with these ones though, which are not in question, just to be clear. I think I showed this page in kind of one of my little pop-up pages because I was really proud of. It's dumb, but I really like when I think they come out aesthetically pleasing. And I cut this. This is kind of like, I forget the name of that paper, vellum paper. So it's kind of see-through, and then kind of cut out some of these almost like steampunk things, kind of like hot air balloons, and put on there just to kind of tie it in. And then this little part, this look cool. Gussied up these pretty photos that were pretty already. This is a cool review of Stevie from the Other Side of the Mirror live. I think it was a live, no, just a review of the album. I apologize. And I did not write down where it was from, but I want to say it was one of those magazines. I got a whole bunch of magazines from a girlfriend in Ohio. I think they were from Ohio. So I think this might have been, the magazines were called Scene magazine. And I think this might have been from there. And I thought they just kind of went with these. I just thought it was kind of a cool border for these two pictures, which were really nice pictures as well. I love that yellow thing. All these things with those big puffy shoulder pads. God bless them. I love them. I love them, but I don't. But that yellow one was really pretty. And if you remember, she wore that one for a lot of the Time Space, some of the promo pictures, which I have some of those when we get into Time Space. But she was wearing it on stage for, well, hell, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these are Time Space photos. I have them with Other Side of the Mirror, so what do I know? It's more kind of with that theme of the balloons, although this one is different. This was like a little decal of its own. Don't know why I thought balloons were cool. Just I did. This was another cutout situation of paper to go through there. There's sometimes, it's such a weird thing to say, pardon me, bring up in photos, but Stevie Nicks looks like Stevie Nicks, and we all take pictures at different points in our lives, and of course we look different. But sometimes Stevie Nicks will have a particular face or just a gesture, facial gesture, something like that, where it's timeless. Like there's a picture of her from Fleetwood Mac days, early Fleetwood Mac to Belladonna to Wild Heart to something, and this is one of those. It's just that kind of contemplative mid-song. And I swear to God, you could just change her hair up and her outfit, and this could be from 1977, it could be from 1983, 89, 97, or today. It's just one of those weird little things. Does that make sense to anybody what I'm saying? Though she's kind of blocked here. That's cute. That little smile, little smirk. These are the pictures in question. So another seller I met on eBay was there fleetingly, is that a word? They were on eBay and they were selling like hotcakes, and they had a series of quite a few photos. By this one it says 25, but I think it was way more than that. And they had a bunch of photos. I made a deal with them probably in like 2016, 17 maybe, for about, I don't know, I must have bought about 20, 25 of them. But they had a lot more, and then they were gone. I never see them on eBay. They might pop up periodically, but I don't see them anymore. They had the negatives supposedly, and they say that they're by Herbert Worthington. And if you've heard me say a couple times in the past, I've always been leery about live photos by Herbert. He's obviously taken them. He's obviously Stevie Nicks' main photographer for the large portion of her life, and so I'm sure there's no reason he wouldn't be at several of her shows. But sometimes I just see some, and I really question that they are by Herbert Worthington. And it seems to me that until I kind of educated myself, that even I was easily glopping anything. If it was a picture of Stevie, Herbert Worthington took that picture. And of course, I know better now. There's so many different photographers in her life. And although Herbert was a prime one, so was Richard R. Moss, so was Sam Emerson, so was Neil Preston. But these ones that came up, I don't know. I've just always wondered if they are indeed by Herbert Worthington. And he even had it on there. Like he had them numbered. And then you can see here, Herbert Worthington photo by. So, I mean, that's what I have to go with. And, could well be. I don't know. I don't know why. I guess the problem I have with it is I don't feel that he captures Stevie in any particular way that he does in the studio. And certain people can still capture Stevie or anybody, their subject, depending on what kind of photographer they are, in such a way that there's an element. As we all know, we adore, and if you don't, get off my channel. No, just kidding. But Alicia Bailey, who takes the most phenomenal pictures live in the whole wide world. But there's several other people that take good pictures of Stevie, and each of them have their little stamp. Each of them have their little, there's a tone to them. There's a feel to them. And I think that, what it is about Herbert's is I just don't see anything. When I see these pictures, live pictures that are purportedly by Herbert, I think that anybody could have taken them. Whereas when I see his studio pictures, there's a certain something there. When I see Richard R. Moss pictures, there's a certain something there. And I just can't think of anybody who's taken, other than Alicia, where there's just kind of that vibe, if that makes any sense. Or I'm just completely talking out my butt. But that's just me. So, and of course it is also hard because, there's, surprise lighting. There's only so much you can do live. It's not a setting. It's in an uncontrolled environment. So, but I don't know. I went into my whole little Temu phase for like a hot minute. And they had a whole bunch of Alice in Wonderland themed scrapbook stuff. And I went ape shit and just bought a ton of stuff. And there were like little stickers and there was this little paper. And so I did a whole bunch of Alice themed pages that I love. Now I go on and self-deprecate my scrapbook work, but I'm really proud of these. And I'm really proud of these, especially because all that lettering is individual and it's freaking damn near perfect, straight, nicely spaced. And I'm an old lady with old lady hands now. And it's really hard to line everything up and have the, with little tweezers and have the, the precision to do that with. And I was just really proud of myself and how these came out. Again, these are more of those pictures from this person, supposedly by Herbert. These are some random one-offs here. But yeah, I thought that looked really cute. And to complement that page, the other side of it was this part here. Again, more of that lovely not hand lettering, but like sticker. Look how straight it is. I might have drawn lines, but I'm not. I think I drew lines on this one, but not on this other one, maybe, to try and be straight. But still, even with lines, the lining them up nonetheless, the right tilt on stuff and the spacing between the letters. Go ahead and pat me on the back, please. And again, more just little Alice in Wonderland themed paper and stickers. I just thought it looked really cute and really. Now, see, this kind of creates a vibe for these photos, in my opinion. And not just because they're mine. I'm just saying in general, just, making a little story out of the photos with the paper and stuff. I'll shut up. This was another fun page. When I was telling you about in another video of some scrapbook paper that I had that was purchased at like a stationery store in Santa Cruz. This was another piece of that paper. I'm sorry. Is that not just freaking beautiful paper, though? And again, with the whole green theme, I thought that that was just a really nice, I don't know, it somehow worked with all those colors. Now, these are more pictures from that person I was telling you about in my last video. If you saw the person that was difficult to work with, putting it nicely, on eBay. They're long, unless they're under a different username, but they disappeared from eBay a long time ago. And that. Carrying on. Now that looks like a Herbert Worthington photo. But that's supposedly a live photo, and you know that has a, but that's like Stevie's posing for him almost. So I don't know. Is it? I guess it's a live photo. Cracks me up. So that cup, if you saw, I have. I'm sure it's got to be. Well, I'm not sure that it's got to be, but it sure does look like the cup that was sold at the Shoreline. If you saw my cup and mug video, although you know it could be anything, but just the curve of the straw and everything like that. And hell, for all I know, these could be pictures of Stevie at the Shoreline. Who's to say? But it's funny when you way ahead in the future when we get to like the 2000s and such. I went and saw Stevie for 4 days at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, and you know it's her first little foray into Vegas and doing a show there. And there's like a TV tray on the stage with a cup, like a sippy cup with a straw, and we bludgeoned that to death, humor wise, you know, with humor that you know Stevie Nicks, the queen of rock and roll, on this impressive, beautiful stage in Las Vegas, doing this little mini residency, and there's a TV tray with the sippy cup on there. That's always what this reminds me of. And that pictures of Stevie and sippy cups on stage. And again, this weird blue tint is so funny how it shows up on camera like that. When you look at it, it doesn't look like that whatsoever. Some more. I wrote on this before I got creative with the letters, and I wish I had put the letters because this looks like what was possibly the set list or songs that she was singing on that tour, and they included Rooms on Fire, which probably I heard live. Don't ask me. I have no recollection. But I'm going to guess, yeah. Maybe I do actually have a recollection. Vaguely. But that's, you know, I was thinking that that would show up, and you can't see that for crap. But yeah. Then we're going to end on this little combination of photos. Another one from that person who says it's by Herbert Worthington. Combined with these, I love the hues in this. That kind of, it almost looks like a sunset with purple and pink and yellow, and really pretty tone to those pictures. And then this was the bulk of those photos that I had purchased from that seller on eBay all those years ago. Primarily, it was going after these shots, which it seems like, you know what, am I right or wrong? I'm trying to think now. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Seems like it was these ones, because almost anyone with the band members in the shots I got from that person, and then acquired other ones later. Actually, a scrapbook that I was received from a friend who no longer collected and gave me their scrapbook had a lot of really unique photos that I hadn't seen. Live shots of Stevie around 89, 91. That was really cool. Just, audience taken photos. But this was fun. This must have been a fun show to be at. I think it was Carlos Rios' birthday. I think was it Carlos? No, maybe not. I don't remember. Somebody's birthday. They're having a good old time. And again, I'll give Stevie credit. Despite what you think about all those big clothes and stuff like that, she had some really nice colors. And I mean, this kind of teal looking color, which is the closest to like green she probably got. I mean, it was really sad because it just seems like around this time, again, 89 to 91 max, she was breaking out a lot of stuff like that and really, coming up with these, layers and layers of colors. Into Street Angel as well, but then that's just out. The last time I remember seeing her really dressed up in something really unique was when she did the 2 shows at the Fillmore in San Francisco. And she came out in that, rich red burgundy outfit, which was phenomenal. But it would be so cool for her to just break one of these out. I know she's got her shawls and, she just doesn't really do that anymore. But one of these type of jacket things, just unusual, would be something really neat to just start the show with or something. I don't know. It'd just be kind of cool if she went back. If she talks about going into the Gothic trunk with her songs, if she kind of did that on the tour. She loves, and I love her talking about her shawls, even though, we've heard it, and we've seen it, we know the shawls, but I still love it every time. I can't wait till she talks about her shawls. But if she pulled out, one of these once in a while, or pictures even, put them up on the monitor from certain times would be kind of cool. And then remember with all this, you'll see a lot of this outfit, that belt and the skirt and everything like that in a lot of 1990. There's some studio sessions with that, and then there's a lot of live pictures with it. So that wraps up this. It looks like I have about 2 more episodes to complete volume 12, and then we'll get into, what is it, Behind the Mask, which I have a lot of. So, but I hope you're enjoying this. And like I said, about 2 more to go with still some really cool stuff yet to come. So thanks again for joining me as always, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night. Bye.